You are currently observing visual evidence that major retail corporations are desperate to keep hidden from your social media feeds. A massive chain just eliminated every single one of its storefronts across the Golden State. They have vanished completely. And this isn't an isolated incident. My name is Alex Thorne, and during the next 17 minutes, I will demonstrate exactly how the retail backbone of California is fracturing right now. While local leaders distribute press releases that contradict the hollow buildings you see while driving through your own town, let us begin with statistics that anyone can verify through public records. Throughout 2024, the brand 99 cents only closed 265 California locations in just 2 months. 14,000 careers disappeared instantly. Rite Aid eliminated all its California presence following 2 separate bankruptcy processes in under 24 months. CVS terminated 900 storefronts from 2022 to 2024, with nearly 300 additional closures scheduled for this coming year. Walmart removed 6 California sites over a year and a half. Target shut down 9 branches in late 2023, blaming criminal activity and safety concerns. Family Dollar ended 677 spots nationwide during 2024, with California absorbing the heaviest impact. What do those digits truly signify for you? Enter any California neighborhood that recently lost its budget grocery option. That was more than a cheap shop for households surviving on minimal income. That was the specific place where $50 provided a full week of food. When those lights went out, those families did not suddenly find surplus cash in their pockets. Instead, they began traveling further, wasting more on fuel and paying inflated costs at remaining outlets. Or they started making brutal sacrifices regarding what they could afford to eat. Now, consider the consequences when your local medical provider vanishes. These pharmacies did not just provide hygiene products or magazines. They managed vital medications for elderly residents on static incomes who could walk 3 blocks, rather than navigating 8 miles of traffic. When a major chain exits, they suggest transferring your records to a different branch. But if you are 74 years old, without transportation, and the alternative pharmacy is located miles away, that isn't a helpful suggestion. That is total neglect. The bureaucratic explanation is layered with complexity. Corporations mention low-performing spots, evolving buyer habits, shoplifting, professional theft rings, rent disputes, and corporate reorganization. Every one of those elements is legitimate. However, here is the inquiry no politician wants to address directly. If this regional economy is truly thriving, if current strategies are succeeding, why is the state failing to keep basic shopping infrastructure that other regions operate with consistent profit? Let me analyze the crime data progression, because this is where the narrative shifts significantly. During September 2023, Target ended 9 locations across 4 different regions. Their formal announcement claimed they could no longer run these shops because inventory loss and violent crime were endangering their staff and visitors. One specific spot was located in San Francisco. Financial analysts inspected the records in late 2023 and discovered a startling fact. Offense rates near the locations Target decided to keep were frequently higher than the rates at the stores they chose to abandon. Therefore, the theft justification has massive inconsistencies. Then, the citizenry reacted. In November 2024, the public passed Proposition 36 with nearly 70% approval. That isn't a narrow win. That is an overwhelming mandate. This law permits legal teams to pursue felony charges for repeat thieves, stealing under $1,000 if they have 2 previous theft strikes. It extends monitoring periods for petty theft. It establishes a fresh legal category known as treatment-required felonies. For narcotics issues, these rules began operating in late December 2024. But herein lies the difficulty. This law is a reaction to an emergency that has already spread too far. You don't secure 70% support unless the crisis is so glaring that citizens across every background witness it daily. By the time this policy arrived, 99 cents only was already history. The drugstores were already declaring insolvency. The structural harm was finished. Let's track the finances using a logistical thought experiment. When a massive discounter liquidates hundreds of spots, What happens to that professional real estate? Some units get acquired by rivals. Many sit abandoned. Unoccupied retail units do not produce local tax funding. They don't hire guards. They turn into magnets for social decay. The land value surrounding that vacant building begins to crater. Neighboring small shops see customer flow vanish because the primary destination is gone. Multiply that across hundreds of failures. Even if California accounts for a small portion of national drugstore exits, we are talking about hundreds of empty medical buildings. Each one utilized 20 or 30 workers. Calculate the impact. We are seeing thousands of jobs lost from a single brand. Total the various chains together. You are looking at 20,000 positions minimum. And that's only counting the names I've listed. But employment losses are merely one side of this disaster. Let's discuss what researchers call shopping deserts. When you lose multiple providers in a tight radius, you create territories where people cannot get essential supplies without traveling massive distances. If you are a parent, balancing multiple jobs without a vehicle, and the nearby shop selling infant supplies just closed, your daily life just became significantly more difficult. You are now choosing between spending hours on a bus to find a store or paying massive premiums at the corner deli that realizes you have zero other choices. Here is the secret price tag nobody monitors. When a major anchor leaves, the tiny businesses that relied on that foot traffic begin to fail as well. The laundry service, next to the old discount shop, loses a fifth of its volume. The local eatery sees lunch sales disappear because the store workers are unemployed. The beauty shop loses the weekend crowd that was running errands nearby. Within half a year, you have a ghost mall where you once had a thriving trade zone. The government's formal reply has centered on legal enforcement, and, Proposition 36, local prosecutors have pledged firm consequences for retail crimes. In early 2025, legal authorities issued guidance on implementing the new rules. Several regions report early attempts to prosecute chronic offenders, but this policing is purely defensive. It fails to explain why this specific region became the primary target for organized theft in the first place. Let's look at what would exist if the formal stories were complete. If chains are leaving mainly due to shoplifting, we should see granular loss data shared by every brand showing theft at closed spots versus those left open. That information exists privately, but most brands refuse to show it. The data we do have complicates the theft story. If these exits are purely about low revenue, we should see financial comparisons. Those aren't public either. If rental deals failed, we should see owners quickly filling those units with new brands at similar prices. That simply isn't occurring. If this is about digital shopping, our closure rate should align with the rest of the country. Instead, this region is being hit much harder than anywhere else. When that discount brand died, 70% of its total national footprint was in California. Here is what a price escalation sequence looks like here. When giants exit, remaining shops face zero competition. Simple math says prices will climb. Households on fixed budgets spend more of their paycheck on bread and milk. That leaves less for fun or extras. Small shops that rely on extra spending see their income crash. Some fail. That puts more locals out of work. Those workers stop spending. The spiral moves faster. Local pay scales rose to nearly $17 per hour this month. Some internet rumors claimed massive chains were leaving because pay hit $22. Both aspects of that rumor are incorrect. The pay is 17, not 22. And the closure count was 6, not hundreds. But here is the real puzzle. If a shop cannot thrive in California while paying a certain wage, but they thrive elsewhere paying the same, what is the hidden variable ruining the math? Compare this region to Texas briefly. One has no income tax. The other has the highest in the nation. One has low land taxes. The other has extreme insurance premiums. One has simple rules. The other has endless layers of red tape. When a company compares two locations and the California spot costs 30% more to run for the exact same sales, they pick the cheaper option. That isn't a political choice. That is a calculator talking. Corporations do not possess feelings. They have profit requirements. If voters want high standards and strict rules, that is a choice, but the result is higher overhead. Some brands will pay it, others will simply leave. And those exits always happen first in the neighborhoods that can't afford to lose them. This should frustrate you, regardless of your leanings. The people hit hardest are the ones with the fewest options. Wealthy areas don't feel the pain because they have 10 other shops. But if you live where the budget shop was the only source of affordable produce, you just lost your lifeline. This trend punishes the vulnerable. Pharmacy exits hit seniors with health problems the most. If you need medicine and the shop is 40 minutes away, you might stop taking it. That leads to medical emergencies which cost the public much more than the original pills would. It is fundamentally broken. But the failure is spread across so many people that no single person feels responsible for fixing it. Here is what transparency should look like. The top offices should release a full census of retail exits. How many jobs gone? How many people now live in food deserts? What specific rules did companies name as the reason for leaving? Then show us a plan. Instead, we get sound bites about task forces. Those fix one symptom, they don't fix the disease. The retail lobby should survey their members and tell us exactly what would keep them here. Make that data public. Let the people see the trade-offs. Then we can vote on whether those changes are worth it. Right now, we are guessing, because the real data is locked in boardrooms. Local towns should do impact studies when a giant leaves. How many residents lost grocery access? How much tax money is gone? Which small shops will die next? Share that with the state. Demand action. Instead, most exits happen in silence, with a simple flyer on the door. There is a historical warning we should remember. In 2008, the crash killed many brands, but those were national failures, caused by a global credit freeze. What we are seeing today is unique. The national economy is actually quite stable. Spending is up. Yet, California is bleeding shops at a rate that makes no sense compared to its neighbors. That proves the issue is local. And if the cause is local, the fix must be local too. We cannot fix the disaster if we refuse to identify it truthfully. If the issue is theft, use the new laws. If the issue is cost, we need tax changes. If the issue is digital shopping, we need to help towns transition. We are out of time for pretending. Look at the next 12 months. More drugstore exits are coming. If patterns hold, dozens will hit this state. Large retailers haven't announced more yet, but they often move in secret. The real danger is when the smaller local chains start to snap. We saw it with the discount brand based right here in our backyard. When it died, we lost an entire sector of the economy. Here is your list for holding leaders accountable. Demand quarterly health reports for the retail sector. Hold public hearings with CEOs. Ask them what it would take to stay. Mayors should require a half-year notice before any shop closes, so locals can find a solution. None of this is happening yet. If you want to monitor this yourself, search for layoff notices in your specific county. These are public records, required by law before mass job cuts. Check those lists every 30 days. When you see a name, start calling your city council. Ask what they are doing to save those jobs. Drive through your town and count the empty windows. Take pictures, share them. Track if those spots get filled. If they stay empty for a year, you are looking at a structural collapse. Go to your local meetings. Ask about the plan for the property. Ask about support for the workers. Record the promises made. Compare them to the reality 6 months later. Hold them to their word. Please like this video and mention wins of thought in your response. Write your county in the comments along with one product you can no longer find nearby. I want to build the map they won't show us. If your grandma can't get her pills without a long drive, say so. Let's gather the truth ourselves. This is a crisis, but it only gets fixed if we stop ignoring the dark storefronts. I will keep watching this every week. If you see a closure, share the link. If you hear a reason why, tell us. We are building the database that should already exist. Keep your eyes open.